Tony Smedley. You are Managing Director and Head of European Private Equity at Heitman. Thank you for joining us on BiTV.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
To start, Heitman was active on the French market in the past through the logistics sector. Why are you coming back to France with residential?
It's a very good question. In the last 5 to 10 years, we as a firm have been moving away from those areas of the market that are more cyclical and more correlated to the economic cycle. And we've been looking principally at those parts of the market that we would consider to be healing in the wider economy. And I would say there are 4 main segments as far as Heitman's business is concerned: residential, senior housing, student housing, and self-storage. And globally, we've invested in those sectors for many, many years. And in Europe, we've begun to tilt our portfolio in 5 to 10 years more towards these sectors. Now, interestingly, logistics is demonstrating some of the similar characteristics. Logistics is becoming more secular and less cyclical because of a change in our shopping habits, principally e-commerce. And what we found during COVID, as we've all experienced, all of these major themes in the real estate markets have simply been accelerated. So everything has been emphasized, and we've seen the emphasis more towards those areas of the market that have secular drivers. Residential, for us, is a big part of our portfolios in Europe, and thankfully so, because since COVID hit, our rent collections have remained at 90+%. Our values have been holding up extremely well. And generally, as a firm in Europe, at least, we've been able to weather the storm so far quite successfully. And that's hardened our resolve, essentially, to continue to grow our allocations in those secular parts of the market. And coming back to your question about why residential in Paris, for us, it's a significant part of the European universe. We've invested in France for decades as a business. We've been in and out in various sectors, as you rightly say, logistics was the last. We exited those positions. We're now coming back into those sectors that we feel have the best value fundamentals in today's environment. And that particular transaction in the center of Paris has all of the characteristics we like. Got value characteristics, but it's also located in a supply-constrained location. That fundamentally is a big driver of value for us.
You alluded to it a little bit. You recently told a business emo that you wish to pursue the development of your European portfolio. How do you intend to do it?
We've witnessed a quite significant increase in investor appetite to allocate to real estate in the last 6 months. And that's really been because of the environment we're all living through. It's incredibly difficult to see a path through to continuing to generate value from many of the strategies that our investors and our clients and our partners are trying to allocate towards. We've generally seen our investors now looking more outwards. What that means is beginning to allocate capital into the market. And the reason is we've learned over, certainly in my career, in the last 3 cycles, putting capital to work in a recovery cycle generally has proven to be successful. So we've been fortunate enough to have raised quite a significant amount of capital as a global business, certainly well over €1 billion. And if we're going to be allocating into these less cyclical parts of the market, certainly we will continue to allocate into all of the European markets, obviously with France being a material component of that. So we're looking for those parts of the market that have the best value fundamentals. In Europe at the moment, we believe it's those, we call them specialty segments. They are non-traditional. Equally, we feel that the operational element of those 4 sectors will begin to be felt in the other more traditional sectors. I've long been of the view, for example, But the office market, I believe, has been a little bit old-fashioned. It's been a relationship through the lens of a lease between landlord and tenant. And my view is that will become more operational in the future. And the real estate industry will become more of a service industry than it's been in the past. And I only say that because if you look at the sectors we're investing in, the living sectors and self-storage, all of them have operational components. I think offices will tend to move in a similar direction in future, particularly with tenants looking for more flexible accommodation. So the opportunity is significant in our view, and hence we've said we will continue to grow, we'll continue to allocate capital to the market.
Having said that, what role will France play in this strategy?
As I mentioned, France is a significant part of the European investment universe, annually attracting investment volumes of in excess of 40 billion euros. We invest in the largest, most liquid and deep markets, and France is certainly one of those. Dominated as it is by Paris, but in our view, less so than in previous decades. And that's good, because your infrastructure network in France has been very beneficial for opening up. I recall many years ago, Lyon and Marseille. Bordeaux is now opening up as a big regional hub that's been connected through TGV. Other cities around Paris, of course, as well, but also down into Toulouse. My view is that France will only get more interesting, not least because the work from home policies of many companies and the extent to which people continue to do that, some of these regional cities will be beneficiaries of that. So there's very strong drivers for demand across the spectrum in France, and it will represent quite a significant part of our European business over time. I have a great affinity for the French market, having lived and worked there for many years, and certainly it will continue to form a large component of our strategy in all sectors. Currently, as I say, we believe the best value is in residential and the living sectors, so students and senior as well as self-storage. But that will change. Offices will become better value. Logistics certainly continues to be of interest, and we would certainly invest back in that sector if we found the right partner to do business with. We haven't typically been bidding in the market for some of the long-let logistics assets. Like some of our peers, we've tended to see better value elsewhere.
Well, thank you very much for this insight, and thank you all for following us. See you soon on BiTV.